Hey, it's your guy Tyrrell back with the interviews. In today's video, we're going to briefly analyze the key factor to William Saliba's dominant individual defensive display against Antonio Conte's Spurs. So in today's video, first we're going to briefly look at how Spurs look to attack in their 3-4-2-1, and then lastly we'll focus on how Saliba did a very good job of putting out fires by covering space for his defenders. So when we break it all down and we do look at the board, we have Spurs in a 3-4-2-1, but that shape changes once they look to attack. You have Richarlison and Son looking to play in the inside channels, and they get the width from Emerson and Perisic pushing forward down the touchline as wingbacks and looking to supply creativity or looking to get on the end of crosses from the opposite flank. So in many situations, Spurs do look like more of a 3-2-5 in possession, and they build up in the 3-2 with Højbjerg and Bentancur dropping off into pockets of space, looking to receive the ball around the Arsenal attackers from the center backs, and from there they look to build. What you end up seeing is that Kane often looks to drop off deeper to receive the ball in pockets of space or in that midfield zone, and then that creates space for Richarlison and Son to make runs across their fullbacks and into the gaps between the fullbacks or in the center backs, or simply across the center backs if one of Saliba or Gabriel don't step with him. At the start of the game, we witnessed Arsenal looking to press from the front, and that caused Spurs several issues as they constantly had Lloris punting balls into the path of Thomas Partey, who recovered possession in his own half and then looked to push Arsenal forward. Frankly, this shouldn't have been a surprise, as if you look at how Arsenal often do press this season against a back three, they have their front three stepping forward to close down the center backs, and then they could have Xhaka and Odegaard stepping forward to deal with Bentancur and Højbjerg. Therefore, in the wider areas, Martinelli and Xhaka are often looking to block off the passing lane in towards the wingbacks, but if the ball somehow gets played over or around them, that's where you need Zinchenko or White to step across to close them down. In those situations, Thomas Partey should be dealing with Kane if he drops off deeper, or in the case that Richarlison and Son shift laterally in towards deeper midfield zones. We did witness variations of Arsenal's press as Dyer ended up pushing higher ahead of the wide center backs, and that witnessed Odegaard stepping in towards him while Xhaka stuck with Perisic. But once Højbjerg decided to drift laterally and shift himself in between the gap of Xhaka and Odegaard, then he was able to get on the ball and help Spurs bypass the Arsenal press. But for instance, out in those wider areas, if White is pushing towards Perisic, then that means that Saliba has to track Son and stick tight towards him. And vice versa, if the ball is pushed out to Emerson, Zinchenko has to step forward and Gabriel is tasked with Richarlison. In this example, you witness Perisic nodding a ball played out towards him over White, who stepped late, and it falls into the path of Son dropping in towards his own half. Saliba steps out in towards the Spurs half to apply pressure, and with Perisic running past White, Saliba does a very good job of identifying that threat, holding up Son, and then unfortunately stepping in towards him to foul him to halt the Spurs transitional break. So therefore, when Richarlison and Son drop off deeper, they're looking to retain possession and hold off the fullbacks or Gabriel, and then looking to switch the ball out to Emerson and Perisic running off Martinelli and Xhaka, or simply looking to drop the ball off into the path of Kane so a runner could break beyond, or they're playing it into the midfield zone so a runner could break in beyond. For instance, if Kane drops ahead of Thomas Partey, Richarlison and Son will be looking to make runs in behind, but if Richarlison drops off deeper and looks to drag out a defender, Kane and Son will be looking to make that same run, and the same applies for Son dropping off to pull out White. That's where you would end up seeing Kane and Richarlison making runs in behind to stretch the Arsenal backline. But the key to Arsenal's success and how they were able to stay firm was down to Saliba coming across to cover for his teammates. As stated previously, he did a very good job in winning the aerial duels against Kane, and the only real advantage that Kane had against Saliba and against many of the Arsenal defenders was when he dropped off deeper to receive the ball to feed, and he was capable of using his strength and his creativity and trickery to get balls in towards his teammates, whether it be playing it across the center backs or simply switching play out across to the wing backs. And we witnessed that on one occasion where he's capable of holding off Saliba and flicking the ball across him into the path of Son to break beyond Thomas Partey, and that resulted in the build-up that led to Spurs' penalty. Therefore, when we break down some of the best openings that Spurs created throughout that game, it often ended with Saliba coming across to cover for White to close down Son. Following Højbjerg playing the ball around White, you could see Son breaking off the right back to run in towards the left channel. From here, now you see Saliba coming across to cover for White, and what he does very well is that he forces Son towards the outside, knowing that he wants to put the ball on towards his right foot to bend it into the top corner, and he holds up Son by consistently giving him that space. But what it does is that it allows White White to come back and recover, and ultimately that halts the Spurs attack, and that's all down to Saliba holding up Son's run to allow White to recover. He was doing a very good job of dealing with Richarlison and brushing him off the ball when he looked to receive it in central areas or in the final third near the penalty area. In this example, you witness Son nodding a loose ball in the midfield zone over Xhaka and Zinchenko, and focus on Saliba stepping towards Richarlison. From here, Richarlison should get to that ball first to create a 2v1, but Saliba does a very good job of anticipating that pressure. He puts his body across Richarlison, and from here he does a very good job of shrugging off the Spurs attacker and looking to recover possession for Arsenal and playing it in towards Partey to help halt that attack. And then lastly, he did a very good job of covering for Gabriel when he got dragged out of position to ensure that Kane couldn't impose his will in the final third or in and around the penalty area when he looked to exploit space in behind the Brazilian center back. Here we witness Spurs looking to break in transition with Kane dragging out Gabriel and looking to play the ball in towards the run of Son, Romero, or Richarlison. He ends up clipping it over Zinchenko and it bypasses Thomas Partey, but look who's shifting over to recover. It's Saliba coming across to deal with Romero, and as Romero carries that ball in towards the right half space, you have Son running goal side of White, but Saliba does a very good job of recovering his position for Zinchenko, getting across to ensure that Romero can't fire a free effort across goal for a Son tap-in, and he ends up blocking the cross initially and then recovering possession to clear the danger. Then finally, you witness Dyer sliding the ball across Jesus to bypass Xhaka and Odegaard, and it falls into the path of Richarlison, dragging out Gabriel in towards the halfway circle, and he does a very good job of letting it roll across him, and it bypasses Gabriel and focuses on Kane's positioning. He's ahead of Saliba to break 1v1 against Ramsdale, and now the race is on. Saliba does a very good job of using his speed to get across, and Kane can't get on the ball with his first touch, and Saliba makes a good challenge as Kane slides to attempt to recover, and he does a good job of halting that attack as Thomas Partey eventually recovers possession. So as you can see, this was a near flawless individual display from Saliba in which he comfortably coped with Conte's attacking trio through his ability to cover space for his fullbacks and center back partner to halt several Spurs attacks.